this thing,
So I know there's like some like work that goes like once you started that you needed to like do then on yourself, because then as an accountant like whatever then going to work doing like the work like now sales part getting like the clients they keeping them. So what additional skill sets do you think you had to then have or like work on to get to this point that you're at right now?
So I think that's the enterprising side of it, where we move away from the accounting, the technical office, the income taxes and the VAT. We move away from all of that. That's one thing. That's one side. That's the professional side. Then we get to, okay, can you sell? Can you sell?
How important is the sales?
Sales is everything. Sales is everything because you can market all you want. So, and there's a difference between marketing and sales, but you can market all you want. But if someone comes here and you cannot sell.
What is the difference between the marketing and sales? For those of us that don't.
The marketing is sort of to build awareness.
Yeah.
To build awareness around this new kid on the block. Whatever it is, whatever you're pushing, this new kid on the block. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is how we. So also looking at the 7 P's in the whole marketing. Your positioning, your pricing. It's looking at that. So that's marketing. That's just marketing. And sales is sitting down, making the offer. Finding out what this person's needs are. After you found out what the person's needs are, how can you then best deliver? You then put them down on the table. And then it's a question of payment. How are you going to pay me? Are you going to pay me monthly or are you going to pay me once off? You need to be closing because you also want to make the other person feel comfortable when you do make that close. But now, all these factors are also around what you're giving, what you're selling. It's different from if I were to sell you a carton of milk. How am I selling you this carton of milk? If I'm selling you a carton of milk, there are costs involved. If I'm selling you an accounting service, what are the costs involved? It's me being here, getting here, the phone call, the data, you see. So sales is a totally different game. I think sales could change your life. And I think that's also after you've managed or you've been a manager at work, what separates you from your owner or your boss or the shareholders is sales. Because what they know how to do better than you is how to sell what you're doing. So they've got connections and contracts with people that are allowing them to sort of sell this service or this product. So that's basically what it is. Can you sell whatever it is that you do on a day-to-day basis? And if you can do that, then you sort of enterprise, then come up from being a professional that's doing whatever they're doing and now can sell whatever they're doing.
So is the drive different knowing that if I don't wake up, I won't eat?
The drive is totally different. The drive is totally different. The drive is totally different. It's a different ball game. It's a different ball game because it works on your psyche. It works greatly on your psyche. So there are days when you get paid. There are days when there's nothing coming in, and you need to be working even if there's nothing coming in. So at the end of the day, you also need to understand that you're a business and you're a professional business, so you don't want to be knocking on people's doors asking for advances. So you need to also learn how to manage your cash flow as a person. So I think moving from being a professional to being an entrepreneur, I don't fear calling myself an entrepreneur, but moving from being a person that works full time, I've sort of learned how to manage my money even better. So I do better with 10,000. Like I can stretch 10,000 much better now than I would, when I was still employed, because I know, 10,000, I'll be expecting it, in another 30 days or whatever. So now I understand that with this 30,000 or this 10,000, how do I stretch this to, last me 3 months?
What I want to ask, you said earlier, as like a person who provides data service, you build the relationship with the client. So now, then what differentiates that from self-employment and like business? Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure you don't want to be, as you grow bigger, you don't want to be like now the only one. You need to be like now client facing the whole time to hold like that relationship. What happens when you want to go on like a 1 month vacation?
I think
it something that you've like thought about? Is it something that you feel like systems that you've got to build around that? Is there a way to build systems around that?
I think very important, number one, operations. So like we're sort of like even covering like the 8 functions of a business, right? So
what are the 8 functions of a business for us who don't know?
It's not off the top of my head.
It's like okay. My question was about then let's say you want to go on vacation for a month.
Okay. I think you need to look at your business, right? Look at the operations of the business. This has got a lot to do with 2 things. I think it's got, let me make it 3. So it's your operations, how you operate. Do you have computers that are in the business that are running the business for you on your behalf, or you're online, or you're offline, client facing? And then your I think your people. Your people are very important. So the type of people that you're trying to bring on board to work with you, I think, are going to be very important. That's what's going to allow you to then take the sabbatical if you want to take the sabbatical. And Mxolisi Sehoole says this, you're not really an entrepreneur if you can't leave your business for 3 months. So you need to build the systems first, and then get the right people to be managing these systems. Then you'll sort of have a proper succession plan. So you'll then be able to leave the business. You see? So I think your people are very, very important. Your people and your systems. So systems can range, because you can have a documented system, and you can ask someone to follow this documented system, or you could have an automated system where you're paying for software and you know that a click of a button will make things happen. So if you're an automated system and there isn't much human interaction, it gets a bit easier to leave the business. But you need to then build in mechanisms to then come through and monitor and review and make sure that this thing is working.
And in this space, can you get automated systems?
You definitely can. I mean, that's where the world is moving right now. This internet banking, the fact that you don't have to go into a bank to get your statements already says that I don't need to even see to get your financial information. So we can work offline, we can work virtually, we can work online and send documents to one another, virtually via email and via Google Drive. So things are then manageable remotely, so it's easier to get away. So you can get away, but you just need to do a lot of training with your people.
Let's see, what other thing haven't I covered? Do you think we should cover? Where are your offices based? I know there's like a unique story about why you want your offices to be where they are.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
So we're based in Soweto, but we're about to move to another office in Soweto. We're based in Kadi. We currently work from home, but what we do is the team comes in every now and then, where we catch up on deliverables and outstandings. But I currently work from home. We're looking at working with one of the big incubators in South Africa to actually move into their premises in Soweto. So we're holding thumbs and hoping that happens very soon, and that will also improve the brand standing. So but
so when people want to be in your centers, your waterfall corners, your centurions, why specifically? Why did you want to?
It's like an exponential growth, right? You need to look at where growth is going to come from next. Let's start. Let me just start at the biggest scheme of things. In the world, we know that you're not going to go to the US for any growth. You're sitting on like negative inflation or zero inflation. So you're not going to go there for growth. So what happens there? They come to Africa, right? In Africa, if you look at African continent, people are not even necessarily looking at South Africa to be the next place for growth. You're looking at countries like Rwanda, because they are still starting out in their growth phase. And you'll understand that when you grow, the initial stages are where you're going to show the most change. So what I mean is that you're more malleable when you're still young. Growth can happen in this time. So Soweto is in this phase where the businesses in there, you've got good established businesses, but there's still so much more that's going to come out of there. There's still so many businesses that are going to come out of there. So I think from a positioning perspective, I'm looking at positioning it right over there to be one of the leaders in accounting in Soweto. So just to make an analogy, when a child grows between the ages of 1 and 5, right, the physical changes are, you can see them, they're exponential, right? Now, back to this conversation. But now, when a person turns 40 to when they turn 45, it's the same 5-year period, but the changes aren't that significant when they're 40 to 45, right? So it's that thing where businesses are in that growing stage, So first movers advantage. So we're trying to get there, and then I think these businesses have got great potential to grow if the business leader or the entrepreneurs are very teachable and are willing to learn and grow with their businesses.
So where do you see the MLS? I always mean I call it this is it. Sehoole Associates. I'm gonna edit that out. So when you see SLA in the next, let's say, I don't want to look at like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like how Elon Musk says that if you want to maybe see yourself as myself in 10 years, try and achieve everything you achieve in 10 years in 6 months. You'll be much further along. So I don't want to say when you see yourself in 10, when you see yourself in 3.
Yeah.
3 years.
I see us, having training, something I'm really passionate about. I think the problem right now with this market that I'm trying to service is that there isn't enough education that's going on. So
education around what, accounting?
Around managing your business, business finances, wisely. Because I think at the end of the day, you can be great at marketing, you can be great at sales, you can be great at all of these things in your business. But if your finances are in shambles, or if you don't know how to manage your finances, then what good is it? So I think I'd like to come in, do a lot of training. I think that's going to be a bit beneficial for entrepreneurs in the sector that I'm trying to service. And then they'll understand the need for having an accountant, the need for having their finances in place. I think that will add value for them. It will assist also with the legacy problem that we have, where we're from a generation where our parents were sort of forced to go into employment and go into professions that the Bantu education system forced them into. But what happens is that when my parents die, or my mother dies, or my father dies, he's an educator. He's only going to give me that legacy of a pension fund. He was an educator, and that's all we're going to have, a pension fund. Whereas if we had a spaza, we're going to have a problem.
Building and
so we've got an issue of a legacy issue where we don't have much left over. We just have a policy, a bit of money left over from our parents' debts. So we don't have much from their jobs. What we get from their jobs is their pension. So if the parent is running a spaza shop, they leave essentially nothing there, because all they leave is the stock in the spaza shop and the fact that we know that there's a spaza shop at that house or at that place.
And sometimes you don't even know where to go, get the stock, because it's just been there, has been running.
Yes.
So after a couple of months, sweet.
Yeah, wabo. So that's the legacy issue. So once we have, and we start conscientizing the entrepreneurs, so we're trying to first move professionals into becoming entrepreneurs, and then trying to teach the entrepreneurs how to manage their finances, so that when it's time to leave your business, or when it's time for your child to take over, they've got a well-run system there. You know how things work, and you can then do a proper handover. So you can sort of move away from looking at the traditional ways of education and start teaching our children about our businesses, because ultimately that's what's going to happen. From generation to generation, we sort of learn what our parents learned. So imagine if we could teach them, if we could start with entrepreneurship right now. 2 generations down the line, 3 generations down the line, we'll have the next PwC, the next KPMG. So it just takes patience and discipline.
We didn't even cover what services Sehoole Associates offers.
All right. So we are playing in the accounting and tax space, and what we do is we service individuals, mostly for taxes, and then we service businesses for accounting and compliance things. So they need annual financial statements, management accounts, letters of income, any communication with the bank. We help businesses and individuals out. And then what we also try to do, over and above that, better than our competitors, is that we try to then add value by having monthly meetings with our clients, giving them strategic management services where we're sitting down and we're looking at their goals, not just saying these are your numbers and this is what the numbers say, but to say what is it that you're trying to do and then how can we then better do that outside of just the numbers. So we try to also help them operationally and strategically. So that's sort of the space that we're playing in. Accounting, tax, and consulting.
Oh, so you're not that service that just comes in and leads, you're just trying to integrate yourselves into the business, you just have that small value add.
No, so we saw a gap in the market that a lot of accountants don't, or accounting firms don't do the follow-up. So, it speaks to the whole, understanding the business and understanding what you're trying to do with the business. We're not trying to make it a hit and run. We're trying to come in and we're trying to stay with the client for the long term, so that if they have any goals that they want to achieve operationally, we're there to guide them through that, and then strategically to also show them some foresight to say, listen, this is the insight that you have on the business, so this is the insight that we know about your business, but here's the foresight of you going forward strategically, because you said that you wanted to start expanding in the next 3 years. This is how we are looking financially. Operationally, this is where we are. Do you think that we could actually get there? Or what are the opportunities that we could go for that could get us to this place?